How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Bitcoin's about to run out. Sounds crazy, but it's going to run out at 100,000, then 200,000, then 500,000, then a million. And there will be people that do not buy until it's worth $1 million plus. That sounds crazy too, because right now the price is headed slightly down. We just finished up the Bitcoin conference, and there are so many announcements of countries, companies, new entities buying Bitcoin, accelerating their Bitcoin purchases, and yet the price is falling, and people just don't understand why that is. And it offers the opportunity for everyone that knows what's happening to be able to buy more Bitcoin compared to the people that don't understand what's happening. So I want to go through that. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Also, I am back at home. I left the Bitcoin conference a little bit early for a family friend event. The Bitcoin baby is back. I met a lot of people that brought up the Bitcoin baby, so appreciate that. And yeah, if you want to trade crypto, by the way, there are links underneath the video. There's a link to Bydfi. Recently, I found out that you can use Bitcoin as collateral for Bitcoin futures trades. So you can use Bitcoin to leverage Bitcoin as well, which is super interesting to me. This is something that I know not many exchanges offer, but I really like it because if you believe strongly in Bitcoin that it's going to go up, well, you can use leverage, low leverage, but you can use Bitcoin as collateral to get even better returns, because if Bitcoin goes and doubles and you're, let's say, on 5x leverage, that's 100% return. No, that's much more than that. You're on 5x leverage and the price of Bitcoin doubles, that's a 5x gain. But then Bitcoin has also 2x, so you would actually get like a 10x gain if you use Bitcoin as collateral versus USDT. So this is super interesting to me, and it can actually help you gain more Bitcoin. So if you want to check that out, there's a 20 to 60% deposit bonus when you use my link underneath the video. Now, Bitcoin's price has fallen down a little bit. We're sitting around 105, 106,000, and people, I think, are still confused. I explained a little bit this morning, but there's manipulation happening. When the massive hyperliquid whale got liquidated, he lost money. He had to close down his position. The fact is he lost a lot of money. He lost a lot of value. And when you see someone that's so aggressively long, he had a $1 billion position at one point on 40x leverage. So he had 25 million in collateral at 40x leverage. And then they go and have to, or they either get liquidated or have to close it. That forces down the market. That causes a significant amount of pressure downward. So there were whales / exchanges that were manipulating the price down to go and liquidate this trader. So people naturally are bearish when the price is down. They think, oh, something bad happened. No, actually, I don't know if there's been more good news over a 2-day time span than there has been this week, from nations like Pakistan acquiring Bitcoin, to new companies acquiring Bitcoin, to new purchases of Bitcoin, to BlackRock buying for 30 of the last 32 days. I'm not saying that necessarily it's a good thing for, all these nations and large companies to buy Bitcoin. I've seen some people make the case, well, this is kind of anti-Bitcoin, but it's good for the price. It is good for the price. Now, then again, some people would say, well, why isn't the price going up? Why are we stuck at the same price, or why are we even falling down if all these people are buying? Keep in mind, they're buying through the OTC desks. They're not going out and purchasing it from Coinbase through like the normal Coinbase app and forcing up the price thousands and thousands of dollars. No, they're acquiring this from people that want to sell it. And some people are bearish on this happening, like they think that this is a scam or something. It's not, because the people that would sell this would also go sell it, and it would cause the price to go down. So it just matters what price people are willing to pay at and what price people are willing to sell at. And eventually, if the OTC desks run dry, people have to go buy from, other means, or they have to buy through like the same channels that you and I buy from. So eventually OTC desks run out, and that's when price goes hyperbolic. And I said you're going to have Bitcoin run out at 100,000. By the way, if you're hearing the baby, he's okay. I sometimes get emails. It's super nice that people reach out saying that they think there's something wrong with the baby. Don't worry, we've got taken care of. We know what this is. But in case you're hearing that in the background, just wanted to bring that up. But Bitcoin will run out at 100,000. It will run out at 150, 200, 500, a million. And that's okay. That's bound to happen. It's happened before, right? Bitcoin, unless you just think Bitcoin's worthless, there's no way that that you think Bitcoin's going down to $10,000, right? But at one point, it seemed incredible that this magic internet money would ever be worth $1,000. Keep in mind, what was it, a decade ago? We had the pizza day. It was over a decade ago, but the first time that Bitcoin was really ever used for payment for something, 2 pizzas cost 10,000 Bitcoin. Now, you can buy 10,000 pizzas with 1 Bitcoin? Think about how quickly that's changed. 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. Now you can get 10,000 pizzas for 1 Bitcoin. It's just insane. So yes, Bitcoin will run out at 100,000. It will never hit 100,000 again at some point. Right? There's a last day where it will never hit $100,000 again. Then that will happen at 150, 200, 300, 500, a million, 2 million, 5 million, 50 million. We like to think about the next couple months, next year or two, but think about decades from now. And that's where, yes, it matters what price you buy Bitcoin at a bit, because it would be better if you could buy more of it at a lower price, but we don't know the prices that we'll get in the future. So that's why I do think it's so important to just dollar cost average. And then, yeah, you can buy more as we fall at certain times, but I think it's important to get an allocation to Bitcoin before it's too late. Even if you mistime the market, even if you buy at the worst time, in 5-10 years, you're not gonna be pissed about it. Just like if you had bought the stock market at the worst time over the last 20 years, you still wouldn't be pissed about it a couple years later, right? Of course, there are exceptions in certain markets and stuff, but the fact is Bitcoin is growing in adoption, growing in every aspect, and it's the world's first and only really truly scarce asset. You can send it across the world for pennies, and you can do it in seconds. It's secured by the strongest computer network in the world. It's got the most adoption. It's quite valuable, right? And it's the only thing you can't make more of that's actually valuable. So I think that that's something that's very important to remember. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Is that something that you think about very often? Again, some people just get in their head that, that the price is going down, so obviously something horrible has to be happening, or you have all the time in the world, and you don't. You just don't. The fact is, many people will wait until Bitcoin's much more expensive than it is today. And some entities do that on purpose, to be clear. There are entities that are happy to buy Bitcoin at $1 million that will not buy it today. They don't think it's been around long enough. It hasn't passed compliance. It's not a large enough market cap. But that will change. That'll change. And as time goes on, those entities are happy to buy at $1 million, even though they're not happy to buy at 100,000. It's crazy too, because we have so many companies that have deep pockets that are buying Bitcoin. I mean, whether it's MicroStrategy acquiring hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin just in the last year, whether it's BlackRock acquiring hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin over the last year and a half, whether it's Tether, I had no idea how much gold they had, but they also have a ton of Bitcoin. They have 100,000 Bitcoin. That's $10 billion, almost $11 billion right now. They also have, 5 tons of gold? This is a crypto company that has 10,000 pounds of gold. From the math I was doing, 10,000 pounds of gold at $3,000 per, $3,000 per ounce. They hold billions and billions of dollars of gold. Some of these crypto companies are some of the most well-capitalized, wealthiest companies and most profitable companies in the world. So yeah, it's just fascinating, the timeline that we're in. And we are able to buy sizable amounts of Bitcoin. I say sizable. It's gotten much more expensive, but I think we'll look back in 10 years and think, wow, we were able to buy a lot of Bitcoin. Because again, in like 30 years, 40 years, there's not going to be one Bitcoin that's mined each day. Now it's 450, but after a handful of more halvings, it's going to get under one Bitcoin a day in our lifetimes, at least in my lifetime. I obviously don't know how old you are, but that's crazy. The whole world is going to be fighting over one Bitcoin. Maybe that's the title. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, if you want to trade, make sure you know what you're doing. But there's a link to Bydfi underneath the video. I really like it. There's also links to BTCC if you want to trade over there. Thank you so much. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.